Do not touch this screen. Do not switch the video. Do not look away even for a second, because what you are about to hear is not the word of man, but a message sent from heaven directly to your spirit. There are moments in life when heaven interrupts our routine, when the whisper of the eternal becomes so clear, so precise, that it cannot be ignored. And this is one of those moments. I, the Lord your God, have come to speak to you, to reveal what has long been hidden, waiting for its perfect time. You thought you were watching just another video, that today would be like any other day. But I had already marked this moment in your story before your eyes even opened this morning. It wasn't the algorithm. It wasn't chance. It was my hand that brought you here, because chains must be broken today, doors must be opened, and promises must begin to be fulfilled. I told you this would be yours. And though you have doubted, though the weight of time and the opinions of others have tried to convince you that there is nothing left for you, my word has not changed. What I have declared over your house, what I have spoken over your life, still stands. Nothing, neither time, nor waiting, nor delays, nor the disbelief of others has the power to cancel what I have already sealed with my eternal mark. You have lived things no one knows. You have cried in the silence of night while others slept peacefully. You have carried burdens the world cannot imagine, and yet you kept going. But the world does not know what it has cost you. They don't understand the deserts you crossed, the giants you faced without strength, the prayers that left you as broken sighs. While others demanded more from you, all you wanted was to breathe, to find meaning, to hold on to faith. And I was there in every tear, in every battle, in every attempt to give up. I saw it all. And even though you felt invisible to people, you were always visible to me. Now I say to you, open with faith, not with fear, not with doubt, not with resignation. Open with faith, because the moment has come. What I have prepared for you is not a scrap from heaven, not a half-hearted answer. It is a full inheritance, a blessing that comes directly from my throne, crafted by my own hands. I prepared it for you, for your home, for your generation. This is not the result of human effort. This is grace. It is favor. It is the fulfillment of promises I wrote into your story before you were born. I want you to know that this is a divine time. You are not in an ordinary season. You have entered the appointed time, the time of my visitation. What once made no sense will now begin to become clear. What seemed like silence was my strategy. What seemed like waiting was my protection. You did not arrive late. You arrived exactly when you were meant to. And that is why I speak to you today, because it is no longer time to look back, to pause, or to retreat in fear. This is the time to move forward, to believe, to open with faith what has been reserved for you. Stay here. Don't get distracted. Don't leave. This word is for you. It's not just another message, it's a reminder from heaven that I do not forget what I promise. I do not lie. And I am never late in delivering what I said would be yours. Remain standing, even when everything around you seemed to fall apart. It was my word that held your foundations together. It was my hand that lifted you when you thought you wouldn't make it. And now is not a time for fear. It is a time for positioning, a time for active faith, for spiritual determination, because heaven is releasing answers and you are part of what I am rebuilding. Listen carefully, because I, the Lord your God, do not speak to entertain your soul, but to awaken it. You've reached this point in your life because my hand has sustained you, and now I want you to know something with absolute certainty. You are not forgotten. And this word is not only for you, but for everything around you. What I am doing is not limited to you. Through you, I will carry this message to many more. But first, you must stay with me until the end. Listen to all I have to say and do not interrupt what I have begun inside you, because I do not leave my work unfinished. You don't know how many nights you ended with your head down, your heart in turmoil, feeling like the world kept moving while you were barely holding on. There are bills on the table, decisions that steal your sleep, worries about your children that drive you to pray from the depths of your soul like one crying for help in a never-ending desert. But I saw every moment. I saw every night you wrestled with thoughts that gave you no peace. I saw you when exhaustion made you believe you couldn't go any further, and yet you rose again, even if only out of obedience, even if only by faith. Even when no one else saw you, I did. Even when you felt your strength was at its limit, it was my hand that sustained you. You haven't lost everything. On the contrary, you've made it this far because what was yours by promise has remained untouched. I hid it in my timing. I kept it out of the enemy's reach. I covered it with my faithfulness, and I waited for one thing, the exact moment to reveal it. And that moment has come. That's why I'm calling you now, because what was once invisible to your eyes, I'm bringing to the surface. I'm placing it clearly before you. Do not doubt, do not resist, do not try to reason away what I've prepared. It doesn't depend on what the world denied you, on the doors that were shut, or on the opportunities that never seemed to come. It depends on one thing: if you believe enough to open without fear what I've set before you. You've lived surrounded by ever-growing responsibilities. Your days seem to have no pause. The exhaustion isn't only in your body, it lives in your spirit, in your emotions, in your soul, which has wanted to scream many times but had to stay silent for the sake of others. There are people in your home who look to you for strength, direction, and answers, and with the weight on your shoulders, you have stayed firm even when your soul cried out for help inside. I know it. I've seen it. And that's why I haven't come today just to comfort you. I've come to unlock what was stuck, to restore what seemed lost, to fulfill what I promised you. Because what is yours is no longer on hold, it is being released. What once felt like a distant hope, something you looked at with tired eyes from afar, I am now turning into reality. You don't need to understand how. You only need to open. You only need to trust. What I said would be yours is still yours. Don't deny it. Don't delay it any longer. There are doors that only open when the heart chooses to believe more in my voice than in the circumstances surrounding it. While you cared for everyone else, while you met others' needs, you so often forgot to care for yourself. Your knees grew weary from praying for those who didn't always value your love, your dedication, your sacrifice. You gave, you believed, you carried burdens no one else knew the weight of. But listen closely, none of your acts of love went unnoticed. Every act of love, every silent tear, every sacrifice that only you and I know about rose to me like a seed, and every seed that reaches heaven returns multiplied to the earth. And that multiplication has already begun to manifest. I don't speak of it as a future promise. I declare it as a present reality. This is the time, this is the hour. This is the season of the harvest you sowed with your soul. Just open with faith. You have reached this point because I upheld every step, even those you took with trembling legs and an exhausted heart. Nothing you faced was by chance. And though there were moments when you felt overwhelmed, you were never outside my sight. every hidden battle you fought, every difficult decision you had to make when no one else understood your burden, all of it has been counted, recorded, and preserved before me. So many days felt like an endless repetition. Obligations surrounded you like walls, and exhaustion became a constant companion. You kept rising not out of strength, but out of responsibility, doing what was needed while your soul grew weary from within. You became a refuge for others, a guide to those who sought you, a pillar for a household that depends on your strength. But in that constant giving, you also forgot what it feels like to truly rest, to trust without tension, to breathe without a weight on your shoulders. I have seen all of this, and not only have I seen it, I have kept each detail, each cry, each tear that did not fall in vain within my perfect timing. The enemy tried to convince you that your exhaustion meant defeat, that your waiting meant abandonment. He wanted you to believe that my promises had faded with time, as though what I spoke had an expiration date. But what I determine stands firm. My word does not bow to circumstances, nor does it change with human opinion. What I sealed with my eternal voice cannot be canceled by any storm. Remember, the clock of heaven is never late nor early, and what seemed delayed was in fact a deep and invisible work being prepared in you and around you. Those were not wasted years, they were years of sowing, years where what seemed barren was actually taking root. Years where you were being formed not for the ordinary, but for that which is grounded in the eternal. While others advanced in what was visible, I was growing you in what is profound. While others were building with noise, I was teaching you to build in secret, because what I build cannot be torn down. What I give cannot be stolen. What I seal cannot be undone. And that's why I speak to you today, because you are closer than you've ever imagined, because what once seemed invisible is now beginning to take shape. It wasn't that it didn't exist, it simply wasn't time. But now what was hidden in my will is starting to be revealed before your eyes, not because of merit, but because of faithfulness, not because of perfection, but because of perseverance. You have gone through many things that could have broken others, yet you remain sometimes without understanding, other times without feeling, but with a faith that held on to what little remained. You've seen the needs pile up, the bills that wouldn't wait, the diagnoses that stirred fear, and the relentless days. But none of it has been unnoticed. Everything has been seen, even the things you never spoke of. When you felt like you were giving more than you had, when fear sat at your table, when the future seemed uncertain, my presence never left you. I have been your constant refuge, even when you didn't feel it. And now I come not only to remind you that I am here, but to manifest what I have promised. What I kept hidden wasn't out of punishment or neglect, it was out of protection. What I have prepared for your life needed to arrive at the perfect moment. Not before, not after. You now stand before a door that cannot be opened with human keys. This door responds to only one thing: faith. A faith that dares to believe even when logic says it's too late. A faith that moves not by emotions, but by obedience. This door won't open with noise, it opens with surrender. It doesn't require effort, it requires yielding. As you walked and sowed, many didn't understand your process. They didn't see the days of struggle, the sleepless nights, the painful decisions made in obedience. You gave when you had nothing left. You spoke life when you yourself needed comfort. You carried more than your soul could handle. But none of it was in vain. Every step, every seed, every act of faith hath been counted as a seed. And every seed planted under my word returns as multiplied fruit. You don't need to fear what's coming. What lies before you is not judgment, it is fulfillment. It is not loss, it is restoration. It is not a test, it is the answer. You have arrived at the place where my word is no longer just a promise, but a manifestation. Don't try to understand everything. Just remain with an open heart, without reservation, without overthinking what you are receiving. This is not the time to calculate, it is the time to believe. Because what I decreed in the heavens is now beginning to manifest on the earth. Everything I have allowed in your journey has served a higher purpose beyond your understanding. I have not wasted a single detail of your story. The times you believed you were making decisions alone, the moments when you felt lost without direction, the days your plans fell apart without any clear reason, all of it was part of a design greater than your human vision. I stopped you when you wanted to run, and moved you when you had resigned yourself to staying still. I did it because I see what you cannot see, and I know the paths that lead to where I have determined you should be. I've been working in the silence. While you thought nothing was moving, I was already preparing connections, resources, people, and scenarios that you could never have created on your own. What seemed like an activity was actually construction, a construction that happens in dimensions beyond natural sight. I went ahead of your needs. I placed provision before lack even appeared. I stored up answers before you had the questions. I prepared the way out long before you realized you were trapped. And now, what hath been developing far from your understanding is beginning to reveal itself clearly. Not because I have changed it, but because you have been formed to see from a different place. The process you went through was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to expand your vision. There were things you couldn't receive until you learned to see beyond the present, until you learned to trust not only in what I do, but in who I am. Because the greatest miracle doesn't happen outside of you, it happens within. When your heart learns to rest in my character, you no longer need external signs to believe. In every fall there was an outstretched hand. In every unexpected closure, a better door was reserved. When you lost relationships, opportunities, and stability, you weren't being abandoned, you were being redirected. Because even though you didn't see it at the time, I was protecting you from what would hinder your growth. I removed what seemed good but was not eternal. I allowed what looked solid to break because it was built on a fragile foundation. It was protected. Now, in this stage, I'm not asking you for explanations. I'm not asking you to justify your past mistakes. I've already seen your heart. I'm not pointing at your doubts or your stumbles. My desire is not for you to live in guilt, but to understand that I still trust what I planted inside you. There is something I placed within you that hasn't died. It may be covered by the dust of frustration or numbed by the weight of disappointment, but it is not dead. It is waiting for the moment when you align with my word and dare to walk again, not with the strength of before, but with the certainty you now carry. What is beginning to open before you is not a repetition of the old, it is a brand new season. I am not bringing back what you lost. I am bringing something better, something that matches the person you have become. You will not return to the starting point. You will move forward into a dimension where everything you have lived will make sense. Because even the chapters that bring you shame, I redeemed them. Even the days you thought were wasted, I turn them into part of the testimony that will bring light to others. I am calling you to let go of the need to understand everything, not because understanding isn't valuable, but because there are revelations that can only be received through obedience. You have searched for many answers, and in trying to solve everything, you have worn yourself out. But the peace you long for will not come when everything fits into your logic. Peace comes when you choose to rest in my direction. Even if you don't yet see the full destination, heaven has already spoken over you, and that word remains firm. It does not change with seasons, nor dissolve with delays. It is active, it is alive, and what I am awakening within you is part of its fulfillment. This is not the time to retreat to what is familiar, but to move forward toward the eternal. Signs will come, doors will open, resources will appear, but all of that will be the result of something deeper. Your willingness to trust unconditionally in what I am doing in the unseen. Do not cling to what once made you feel secure. I am teaching you to walk by faith, not by sight. What I am doing in this season is unlike anything before. It does not resemble your expectations or follow the patterns others have experienced. What I am doing with you is unique, because your calling, your story, and your assignment are one of a kind, and for that reason, the process you went through was not in vain. Everything set apart for your life is connected by an invisible thread I have woven with purpose and precision. Nothing has been random, and nothing has been wasted. Every step, every pause, every unexpected turn has been carefully stitched by my hand to bring you to a place where your ears could hear what you once weren't ready to receive. Because it's not just about arriving, it's about arriving prepared. What I have reserved for you is not fragile, not temporary, and not shallow. That's why I have worked deeply in places no one else sees, in areas even you couldn't understand. There were seasons when everything on the outside seemed stuck, fruitless, without progress. But those times were root fields. While you were looking for signs in the sky, I was strengthening your foundations on the earth, teaching you to remain when there were no results, to move forward without applause, to sow with faithfulness even when the soil looked dry. Because those who sustain the eternal cannot live conditioned by what is visible. And even when your surroundings didn't show it, the growth within you was steady and unbroken. At times, you asked for everything to be resolved immediately. You longed for my intervention to come with noise, for my hand to move the external as a sign that I was working. But what I'm building doesn't require a spectacle. I'm not interested in embrace, I'm interested in transforme. And the most lasting transformations don't happen through loud displays, but through whispers that redirect the heart, through truths that replace broken structures, through my presence that reorders everything from within. Your story is not defined by your moments of success, nor limited by your failures. It is sustained by a word that remains firm even when the world changes. And that word has direction. It is not a vague message or an uncertain hope. It is a clear decree, with specific design and eternal purpose. That is why I don't want you to cling to outcomes. I want you to hold on to my voice. Results may come and go, but my voice is the compass that never fails. I know there are areas in your life where you feel the structure can no longer bear the weight. Strain, relationships, decisions that once felt right but now feel heavy, paths that divide and leave you unsure of where to go. I'm not asking you to have all the answers. I'm inviting you to trust mine. You've been tested emotionally, financially, and spiritually. Every part of your life has been touched not to weaken you, but to show you that there is no area where I cannot intervene. What is now being revealed will not be a temporary fix or a partial solution. It will be a complete testimony of restoration. I'm not doing surface-level repairs. I'm making all things new. What seemed impossible to rebuild, I will raise again with new materials, a new foundation, and a direction that is not limited by the past. I'm clearing your vision, refining your direction, and revealing the strategy. It's not about everything being perfect before you can move forward. On the contrary, it is in the midst of imperfection that my glory shines the brightest. If you wait to have everything under control before moving, you'll miss the miracle of obedience. Movement is not born from control, it is born from faith. And it is in obedience, even in uncertainty, where provision appears, where the path opens, where strength is renewed. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You're not in a spiritual competition or race to meet human expectations. I didn't call you to fit in, I called you to transform. That's why I'm separating you from old patterns, from structures that limited you, from voices that confuse your identity. I'm silencing the noise so that my word becomes your only guide, because what is coming requires clarity. And clarity does not come in haste, it comes through communion. This is the time to surrender the tools that no longer work, to stop relying on past formulas, to let go of methods that kept you busy, but not fruitful. I am not seeking your effort, I'm seeking your availability. I'm not asking for more strength, I'm asking for more space. Make room for me not just in your schedule, but in your inner being. Because where I dwell, everything begins to align, not instantly, not like magic, but with a progressive, steady, unstoppable order. You have arrived at the threshold of something completely new, but the new does not begin outside. It begins within. When you allow my truth to replace your fear, when you let my direction hold more weight than your logic, when you understand that the waiting was not loss but preparation, that is where true transformation begins. And from that place, I will take you further than you ever dreamed. There are territories you have not yet walked, promises you have not yet seen, because they were reserved for a version of you that was still being formed. And now that spiritual maturity has come, now that your breaking did not crush you but gave you roots, I tell you it is time to move forward without retreat, to walk without fear, to lift your head and step with determination. What I have prepared requires a steady heart, a renewed mind, and an awakened vision. Willingness alone is not enough, you must be prepared. And you have been formed with purpose, in silence, in hidden places where no one applauded but where I was present, teaching, shaping, refining. The doors before you are not ordinary doors. They are not adorned with human decoration. They bear no visible signs or promises that catch the natural eye. These are doors of the Spirit, doors of revelation, alignment, and destiny. They are gateways to a dimension of fulfillment that cannot be reached through skill, but only through surrender. What is about to open will not be sustained by your effort, but by my faithfulness. But to cross them, there are things you cannot take with you. There are weights that must be left behind. There are thoughts that cannot pass through to the other side. There are relationships, habits, and expectations that must be released, because where I am taking you, there is no room for what does not build. From this point on, it will not be your surroundings that dictate your faith, it will be your faith that transforms your surroundings. It will not be your past that speaks the loudest, it will be my voice within you that sets the rhythm of your days. You will no longer walk by reacting, you will walk by leading. You will no longer be adapting to what comes, you will be establishing what I have sent. Because you are part of what I am building, not just for you, but for those who will come after you. Your life will be a sign, a foundation, a response. And everything that once seemed insignificant will now make sense. Do not look back. Do not look to the sides. Look to me, because what I have ahead of you far exceeds what lies behind. The time for hiding is over. The time for minimizing what I placed inside you is also over. It is time to open, to release, to believe, because what once seemed delayed is now at the door. What once seemed impossible is already in motion. And what once seemed invisible has already begun to manifest. Please, just 1 minute. That's all I ask of you. I need to speak with you. There is something you carry in your heart, something you haven't shared with anyone, but I know it. You didn't arrive here by accident. I brought you here because today I have a word that can change your path, calm your soul, and open your eyes. Just listen to me, a minute will be enough. I, your heavenly Father, was there every time the world repaid your love with ingratitude. I saw how you offered kindness and received rejection. I saw your efforts to do good, even when it seemed like it was never enough for others. I saw you lying awake at night, wondering if what you were doing mattered, if I saw it, if anyone cared at all. Listen closely now. Each of those moments was seen by me. Every tear you shed was caught in my hands. Not a single one was lost. Every time you chose love over bitterness, every time you forgave when it was easier to hold a grudge, every time you kept believing even when everything felt dark, it did not go unnoticed by me. I've seen you walk through dark valleys, carrying pain that few understand. I saw you when your knees trembled, when you thought you couldn't go on, yet you took one more step. Do you know who held your life together when you felt like falling apart? It was me. My hand never left you. Even when you did feel me, even when you thought I was far away, I was closer to you than your own breath. Every silent prayer, every sigh of your heart, every secret cry, all of it reached me. Nothing was lost. My beloved, I want you to hear me clearly now. Your efforts were not in vain. Your love was not in vain. Your waiting was not in vain. Everything you have done with a sincere heart has been kept by me as a precious treasure. In heaven, nothing done out of love goes unrewarded. As it is written in Hebrews, for God is not unjust to forget your work and the labor of love you have shown toward his name, having served the saints and continuing to serve them. I am not like people who quickly forget, who fail to value, or who dismiss your worth. I cherish what you do because I see the heart, and I know the deepest intentions. My daughter, I know how many times your heart was broken, and yet you chose to rise and keep going. I know how many times you wanted to give up, but chose to hold on to faith. I know how many times your spirit was wounded by harsh words, by scornful looks, by painful rejection, and still, you chose to love. Don't think those sacrifices were small or unnoticed. On the contrary, to me, they are great. They are precious fragrances that rise before my throne. I am shaping in you a steadfast character, a faith that has been tested, a hope that cannot be broken. That's why today I say to you, stay here. Do not ignore this call. Do not postpone it. Do not say tomorrow, Lord, tomorrow I will listen. No, this is the moment. Today is the day of your encounter with me. Do not close your heart. Do not turn away your ear, because I am speaking to you now. I plead with you through the purest love, with the eternal love I have for you. As I said in Jeremiah, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, I have drawn you with loving kindness. You cannot imagine how much I long for this moment with you. How much I yearn for you to give me just 1 minute, 1 instant to hear my voice. You've been running so much, so busy, so burdened with your worries that you've barely let me in. But now, please stay. Listen, pause your steps for just a moment, because I want to pour over you words of life, of healing, of renewal. I want to remind you who you are to me. I want to remind you that you are my beloved son, my precious daughter, and in my eyes, you have immeasurable worth. Do not let the enemy deceive you with his lies. Do not allow the voices of the world to define your identity. You are mine, and nothing and no one can snatch you from my hand. As it says in Isaiah, do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Listen to my voice. This moment is crucial. I don't want you to ignore it because it could be your last opportunity. I do not speak to frighten you, but to awaken you. I am knocking at the door of your heart, waiting for you to open it, because I want to come in and have fellowship with you. As it says in Revelation, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and dine with him, and he with me. Stay with me. Listen to what I have to say. It is time to awaken. It is time to return. It is time to surrender your heart fully to me. I am here, waiting for you with open arms. Listen closely, because I don't want you to miss a single word of what I am about to tell you. Today, I speak to you not only as your Creator but as your loving Father, the one who has walked with you every step of the way, even when you didn't realize it. I know there have been times when you felt alone, when you walked through darkness thinking no one was there to hold you. I know there were moments when you looked up to the sky and asked, "Where are you, Lord? Why are you allowing this to happen to me? Why don't you intervene right now?" And I want you to know that every one of those questions reached me. Every painful thought, every silent cry, every hidden tear. I allowed certain things to happen, not to harm you, not to break you, but to strengthen you so that you could know me more deeply, so that you could understand my heart beyond just words. Through every trial, through every loss, through every challenge, I have been shaping something precious within you, something you can't fully see yet. A beautiful heart. Yes, what a beautiful heart you have developed through all of this. A humble heart that doesn't exalt itself, that knows how to depend on me and recognize its need for grace. A tender heart that does not grow hard or cold from life's wounds, but learns to love more deeply, to show compassion to others, and to weep with those who weep. You have also developed a strong heart, forged in the fire of adversity, because every blow, every disappointment, every obstacle that once seemed impossible didn't break you, it made you more resilient. Now you are able to rise when you fall. You can look forward even when everything seems lost. You are able to keep trusting even when you have no answers. And I want you to hear this clearly, even when you question me, even when your thoughts were filled with doubt, even when you wondered if I had forgotten you, I never turned my face away from you. I never left your side. My love for you is not fragile or changeable like the love of this world. My love does not depend on your performance. It doesn't fade when you fail, and it doesn't weaken when you make mistakes. I am your Father, and my love is firm, eternal, and unshakable. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. You are my beloved. Nothing you do can stop me from loving you, not your mistakes, not your failures, not your weaknesses. I have been with you in those moments when you felt overlooked, when your faithfulness seemed invisible to those around you. When your sacrifice went unnoticed by the world, I was there, watching every detail, treasuring every act of kindness, every sincere gesture of love. I want you to know, my beloved, that I have been preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies. Not only will you see my goodness, but those who once looked down on you will see how deeply I love you, how powerfully I support you, how greatly I honor you. Blessings will come to you, blessings that won't be small but will overflow and overflow because of your unshakable trust in me. You have sown with tears. Yes, I saw it. I saw you give even when you had little. I saw you love even when it hurt. I saw you forgive while the wound was still open. I saw you wait in silence while others told you to give up. I saw it all, and now I tell you, you will reap with joy. I want you to understand how valuable you are to me. You are not an accident, not a mistake, not just another number among millions. You are unique. You are special. You are my treasure. I formed you with my own hands. I gave you life. I have watched over you from the very first moment. Everything you've lived through has been part of a greater plan, a plan far beyond what you can imagine. Even if you don't understand it now, the day will come when you will look back and see how every piece fit perfectly, how every difficult moment shaped you into who you are today. I don't want you to keep living in fear. I don't want you to think you're alone or that you have to carry all the weight by yourself. I am with you. I have always been with you, and I always will be. My faithfulness does not depend on your strength. My love does not depend on your perfection. I love you because you are mine, because I chose you, because I adopted you as my son, as my daughter, because I delight in you. So, my beloved, stay with me. Don't rush back to the noise of the world. Don't run away from this moment. Remain here with me. Listen to my voice. Receive my love. Let it strengthen you, comfort you, and restore you. You don't need to hide anymore. You don't need to fight alone. You don't need to prove anything to me. I already love you completely. I am already proud of you. I have already prepared an inheritance for you, a reward, a crown of glory that no one can take from you. Today I call you to rest in me, to surrender in my arms, to trust fully. No matter what comes tomorrow, no matter how great the challenge may be, I will be there with you always. My plan for you is perfect. My love for you is eternal, and my hand will never let you go. I have been with you in every step, in every season of your life, in the sunniest days and in the darkest nights. When your heart was filled with joy, I was there, smiling with you, pouring out blessings, many of which you didn't even notice. And when pain settled deep in your chest and the tears wouldn't stop, I was there too, collecting every drop, comforting your spirit, even when you thought you were completely alone. My love has surrounded you from the very beginning, and although you didn't always feel it, I never, ever stopped holding you. I know there were times when your mind was filled with questions you didn't dare say out loud. Why, Lord? Why me? Why this hard path? Why don't you answer when I cry out? I know you sometimes felt like every door was closing, that your efforts were in vain, that your dreams were buried under mountains of disappointment. But I want you to understand something deep. Every process, every struggle, every challenge had a purpose. They weren't punishments. They weren't signs of abandonment. I allowed certain things not to hurt you, but to grow a strength within you that you didn't even know existed. What a beautiful character has been born from all of this. What nobility, what depth, what beauty has formed inside you through the fire of trials. It wasn't outward success or the applause of others that made you grow. It was the lonely nights when you chose not to give up. The days of silence when you still chose to trust, even without answers. The moments when you stood firm, even as everything around you seemed to be falling apart. That strength, that resilience, that humility, that love growing within you, they are living proof of my work in you. Even when doubts rose in your heart, even when you wrestled with me, when you thought maybe I had forgotten your dreams, I never turned my face away. My love is not offended by your questions. It doesn't tire of your weaknesses. It doesn't retreat when you feel exhausted. My love remains firm and constant, surrounding you, covering you, renewing you. It is not bound by conditions. It does not depend on how perfect you are. It is not measured by your achievements. I love you because I chose to love you before you were even born, and nothing and no one can change that. Much of what you've lived has been invisible to human eyes. The people around you may not have noticed. They may not have understood the silent effort, the selfless giving, the inner battles you fought alone. But I saw it all, every small act of love, every word of encouragement, every hidden sacrifice, every moment you chose to do good when no one was watching, every time you chose forgiveness when resentment would have been easier. I have kept all of it as a treasure. I've been preparing a table for you, not just any table, but one filled with honor, a table that will be set even in front of those who once looked down on you, a table overflowing with abundant blessings, far beyond what you can imagine. These blessings will come not by chance or luck, but because of the unwavering trust you've held on to, even when everything around you told you to give up. The tears you sowed were not in vain, they were not wasted. From them, a great harvest will spring forth, a renewed joy, a fullness that will fill every empty space in your soul. It's time to understand that you were never unprotected. There were many battles I fought for you without your knowledge, many dangers I kept you from without you realizing it. Many small blessings I poured out day by day, just to remind you how much I love you. Everything you have lived has been part of a greater design, one meant to lead you to true fulfillment. Not the kind the world offers, but the kind that can only come from walking closely with me. Today, I'm not asking you to understand everything, nor to have all the answers. I don't want you to keep carrying alone what only I can bear. You've tried to be strong for so long. You've tried to solve it all on your own. You've tried to hold together what was never yours to hold, but you were never meant to carry that weight. I've only been waiting for you to lay those burdens at my feet, to surrender in the depths of your heart. Not because you've lost, but because in surrender, you give me room to work, to restore, to renew. There are areas in your life I want to heal. There are old wounds that need my touch. There are memories that still bind you, invisible chains that continue to limit your steps. But I'm not calling you to hide them or bury them deeper. I'm inviting you to bring them to me, to place them in my hands, because I am the only one who can turn pain into glory, brokenness into beauty, ashes into a crown. Everything you give to me will be redeemed. Everything you place in my hands will be transformed. This is a sacred moment, a time to pause, to take a deep breath, and to open your heart. This is a moment between you and me, where outside voices do not matter, where fear and doubt have no place. Here, I want you to know that you are still deeply loved, that I am not finished with you, and that what's coming is not loss or abandonment, but renewal, restoration, and life. My faithfulness remains, and my love never fails. Here I am, always waiting for you. From the beginning, it was I who designed your path in detail, long before your days ever took shape. Everything that exists within you has been carefully woven with purpose, not by chance, not by accident. Every gift, every talent, every passion burning inside you was placed there by my hands, not to remain hidden or wasted, but to blossom and bear fruit in its perfect time. Everything in you has meaning within a greater plan that, even if you don't yet understand it, is good, perfect, and filled with eternal purpose. I have watched you grow and change, shaped by the seasons of life. And even when you feel like your progress is slow or that you've taken steps backward, I want you to know that every movement, even the stumbling ones, is part of a deeper process. I don't measure your life by visible success or instant results. I look at the quiet process, the hidden effort, the seed growing beneath the soil where no one can see. That's where I do my greatest work, in the secret, in the depths, in the unseen. I know there are longings buried deep within your soul, desires that sometimes ache because the years pass and they seem unfulfilled. But listen closely. There is no noble longing I overlook, no pure desire I despise. I know your heart better than you do, and I also know the perfect timing for every promise. Waiting is not loss. It's not punishment, it's preparation. While you wait, I am strengthening your faith, aligning circumstances, and preparing the ground so that when the fulfillment comes, you can receive it with a mature and grateful heart, not one rushed by impatience. Remember, I see what others don't. I see your thoughts, your secret dreams, your internal struggles, your hidden victories. I see when you choose silence out of love, when you give expecting nothing in return, when you hold your tongue so you won't hurt, when you work tirelessly for others even if no one sees or acknowledges it. None of that is ever lost. Every detail echoes into eternity. Every small act matters in heaven, even if it goes unnoticed on earth. And I also want you to remember, you are not called to compare yourself. Comparisons only steal joy and extinguish the fire I placed inside you. You were not created to run someone else's race. You were not designed to live under the expectations of those around you. I formed you to be unique, distinct, with a singular purpose that no one else can fulfill. There are things I've placed exclusively in your hands, responsibilities and opportunities that only you can carry out, because I created you for them. In certain areas of your life, fear has tried to take control, insecurities have built walls, and external voices have attempted to limit you. But I want you to know that within you lies far more than you've discovered. There is a strength you haven't fully explored, a creativity waiting to be unleashed, and dreams longing to be embraced once again. You are not bound by circumstances or past mistakes. Every day with you is a fresh opportunity, a new beginning, a step forward into the purpose I've designed just for you. Though the past has left marks, those marks do not define you. Though failures left scars, those scars do not determine your destiny. The past holds no power to cancel what I have planned for your life. Your mistakes do not have the final word. It doesn't matter how many times you stumbled, what matters is that I'm still here, reaching out my hand, lifting you up, encouraging you to keep moving forward. My desire is not for you to remain looking back and regret over what's been lost, but to lift your eyes and look ahead, because there is still so much to live, so much to discover, so much to conquer. I want you to dare to believe again, to dream again, to raise your head with hope. This is not the end of your story, it's only another page in the book I'm still writing. Beautiful chapters are coming, chapters you haven't even imagined, moments full of grace, surprise, and renewed joy. What you now see as a desert, you will soon see in bloom. What feels like a burden now will soon become a testimony. Every step you take forward, every time you choose not to give up, every moment you decide to trust even when you cannot see, is a seed you're planting in fertile ground, and that seed will yield abundant fruit in its season. I don't want you to live trapped by the anxiety of tomorrow or the nostalgia of yesterday. The most valuable moment you have is now. Here, in this very instant, I am with you, walking beside you, guiding you with wise and loving hands. I am here, holding you even when you can't feel it, even when your heart is full of doubt. My presence surrounds you, my peace covers you, and my love sustains you. There is no barrier that can separate you from what I have prepared for you. Today is a day to move forward, to take a deep breath and rise again, not in your own strength, but with the assurance that I am working in you and through you. Every area of your life matters to me. Every detail is under my care. Nothing is too small. Nothing is insignificant. You are precious to me, valuable, loved, and upheld. I will continue to work in you step by step, day by day, until the work is complete. There are deep parts of your life that have remained asleep, buried beneath layers of routine, disappointment, and fatigue. Today I want to speak to those places you stopped looking at because they hurt too much, because you believed they weren't worth touching again, because you convinced your heart it was better to leave certain dreams behind. But I have never stopped seeing them. I have never abandoned the corners of your soul that feel desolate. Inside you are gifts and talents that haven't fully awakened, not because they lack worth, but because you've walked a path where patience and maturity needed to grow first. I know there have been times when you felt like you wasted time, that you lost years, that opportunities slipped through your fingers. I know you've looked back and thought your story couldn't be rewritten, that some chapters were left incomplete, pages stained by mistakes. But listen closely. No time is lost when I am at work. No failure is final when my hand is upon your life. No page of your story lies beyond my redemption. There is a deep work I'm still doing inside you, even when you don't see it, even when you think everything is stuck. Nothing in you is ruined. Nothing in you is a waste. Every part of your story, even the most broken or hidden ones, can become part of the glorious tapestry I am still weaving for good. Much of what has burdened you comes from expectations that were never yours to carry, from weights others placed on your shoulders, from unfair comparisons, from voices that told you you'd never be enough, that you wouldn't make it, that you didn't deserve what you longed for. I want you to know those voices are not from me. I don't compare you. I don't reject you. I don't demand that you prove your worth. To me, you already have worth. You are loved without conditions, without needing to earn it. In the midst of the battles you faced, I've been cultivating in you a love that goes beyond selfishness, a willingness to serve without applause, a perseverance that keeps going even without instant reward. I have been carving patience into your character, patience that knows how to wait, humility that doesn't need to dominate, wisdom that is born from both tears and stillness. New seasons are ahead, seasons that won't look like the ones before. I will lead you down paths where you will see fulfillments that once seemed impossible. But it won't be by your own strength that you get there. It will be because I open the doors myself. They won't be the doors you imagined or the roads you would have chosen, but they will be better, deeper, and filled with eternal purpose. And when you look back, you will realize that every delay, every obstacle, every apparent loss had its place in the greater design.